In Kenya, much of what we've seen with the e-mobility transition has been to do with PSV buses and two-wheelers. As for the cars, it's mostly hybrid vehicles which use petrol and battery power. But there's something I want to find out. Just how easy is it to live with a purely electric car? So today, I'm going to be doing just that. Come along. The EV technology race so far seems to be a battle between China and the US. America has the likes of Lucid and Tesla, while China has BYD and NIO, just to name a few. In Kenya and most of Africa, China is the leader so far. Moja EV is taking a bet on Kenya's car market, whose customers are increasingly warming up to EVs, partly due to the surge of hybrid electric vehicles in the country. Moja sells electric cars from the Chinese EV makers, Neta Auto and Skyworth Auto. Neta's subcompact SUV, the Neta V, targets Kenyan taxi drivers and is designed to be the electric equivalent of a Subaru XV. Winnie Acheng is the sales director at Moja EV Africa and begins by showing us how the key fob works.
The key is a fidget key, which is a very unique thing about it. Once you press the unlock button, so once you turn this on, the car is ready to drive.
With this EV, everything is kept minimal. The lever on the right of the steering column is the gear shift. The windshield washer and headlight controls are all on the left lever. The car comes with features like a 14.6-inch touchscreen which you can use to access functions such as temperature, driving mode and cruise control. You also get a 12-inch digital instrument panel to monitor things like your battery percentage, how many kilometers you have left before you need to recharge, which is your range, and your current speed.
So we have a portable charger, which is a 3.3 kilowatt, and then we have a stationed charger where if you buy the car, we send a technician to come and install it in your house, so you don't have to worry about going to charge outside. So that is a 7.7 kilowatt, and it takes, for this particular car, it takes 5 to 6 hours to charge.
The 45 kilowatt charger is mounted at homes or offices and can get you from 30% to 80% charge in about 30 minutes. The 6.6 kilowatt onboard charger, meanwhile, is slower.
It takes around 11 hours to charge, but the plan is not to charge fully. It's an emergency charger, so it's more of I'm going so far, but I didn't charge overnight, so let me just stop up and leave.
After that introduction, it is time to take the car on a road trip, for work purposes of course. The Neta V has a motor power of 70 kilowatts and 150 Newton meters of torque. However, Neta has capped the maximum speed for the car at 101 kilometers per hour. So first impressions of the car, I quite like the cool, clean, minimalistic design. At the front, for instance, is just the Neta logo. No much going on, just the headlights. They're calling them the halogen headlights. They're automatic and they have this daylight running feature. No front grille, as you would find in an ICE vehicle. The only air intakes you get are the ones at the bottom of the front side of the car. Towards the side, you have these 16-inch alloys that come as standard. The indicator over here that you would find in some cars, they place it over here. Not a tall car, this is a subcompact SUV. It's about 1.5 meters high. The ground clearance is just about okay to take you off the main highway. This is not the kind of car you would take for serious off-roading. I quite like this crest that runs from halfway the front door, comes to this way. It looks so cool from the driver's position when you're driving the car and looking at it from the side mirror. Coming on to the back, minimalistic across as well. I like the inverted U design of the LED tail lights you have going on over here. These are the reflectors and there's one reversing light. The boot is not automatic, so you have to push it manually, but it has more space than what you'd get in a Subaru XV. We're able to fit our equipment over here. It's not tall, so it's easier to load luggage and get luggage out of. So the car does not come with a space saver spare wheel. It's just the toolkit over here underneath the boot, and this is also where I get my portable charger to have on the go, and that's about the back. Coming on to the rear seats, the doors open quite wide, so it's easier to get in. My knees are touching in the front seat and this is in my usual position. I'm 5'10", 5'11", depending on what sort of a head I'm in. But I have just about enough headroom. you get the sense that the car is designed for four to seat four, so two at the rear and two at the front, because there's no headrest for back for the third person. Maybe a child can fit quite well over here. I get USB charging for the rear passengers. I don't have AC at the back. And yeah, that's about it in the rear. So as for the batteries, you have two types. There's the 384 kilometer one and this 400 kilometer one, which is the one we're having. We had so much fun around Limuru and we still have about 230 kilometers left of the car. One of the major challenges with EV adoption in Kenya is the initial buying price. The Neta V, for instance, goes for about 4.5 million shillings. A brand new Subaru XV can go for slightly higher with the newer models, depending on the trim level. From there, the running costs are significantly lower than that of an internal combustion engine vehicle, also known as an ICE vehicle. Neta estimates that one can save up to 200,000 shillings on fuel and maintenance a year by going electric. But the truth is that apart from companies and government agencies, used car imports from Japan and European markets are still what the majority of Kenyans buy. Moja EV says they are working on local assembly, which in turn will bring down the initial costs of their EVs.
Currently, we import them as fully built cars, but eventually we are going to do the CKDs. That is in the pipeline. Sometime December 2025, we should have our own plant and we are able to now bring them as CKDs and then assemble them here.
And like with the other e-mobility players in Kenya dealing in buses and two-wheelers, the company has financing options and a leasing model for short-term EV use.
There is the cash option, obviously, if you have the whole amount. There's the lease-to-own plan where you pay 30% to our company and then the difference we give you up to 3 years or 36 months to repay. And then we also have a taxi plan, mostly for taxi and corporate organizations, where you pay 4,000 shillings per day and lease the car.
Another key challenge has been the availability of public charging centers, which are not only practically unavailable in rural towns, but also scarce in major cities like the capital, Nairobi. In the case of Limuru, for instance, where we took the Neta V, the only nearby charging stations we could find on the Electromaps app were in Naivasha, some 59 kilometers away. Our other option was to return to Nairobi in the Spring Valley suburb, some 34 kilometers away. As such, we opted to use the slower 6.6 kilowatt onboard charger at the boot of the car to boost our battery. So right now I still have about 209 kilometers left on my range, but I want to pull into a public place so I can see how much I can top up my battery as I have a coffee. Portable charger. To charge, all I need is a power socket and an adapter for my portable charger. In about an hour, we were able to get the car battery up by 10%, which is just over 30 kilometers more on our range. In April of 2024, Kenya announced an ambitious plan to invest up to 258 million shillings in the next 3 years to drive local EV uptake. Part of this plan is setting up charging stations across the country. Kenya Power plans to introduce 50 kilowatt DC chargers, which offer a 1-hour charging time, as well as 22 kilowatt AC chargers with a 2-hour charging time. Another concern customers have with EVs is the battery life, especially when loosely compared to that of other electronic devices like laptops.
Our battery life is given 15 years battery life, but we give a warranty for 8 years, which means 8 years we are 100% sure this battery is going to be serving you 100%. After the 15 years, we anticipate to lose like 50 kilometers on the range here. So if it's 400, it will go to maybe 350. But that is something that is anticipated, not that it's happened to anyone.
For now, Moja EV, which began selling the Neta V in Kenya in July of 2024, says they target selling 500 units by mid-2025.
Yes, the goal is to at least sell 500 cars by June 2025, which is that was our 1 year plan.
So for 4.5 million Kenyan shillings, this guy is retailing at, you start thinking, do I really need one of those used Japanese imports, which is what dominates Kenyan roads? And Neta estimates that the price of that will go down in the near future when they start local assembly. It's something they are working on. So one will start, I think it will become very more easy to convince a Kenyan that you don't really need a nice vehicle compared if you're looking for a subcompact SUV.